Have you ever woken up and just felt heavy? It's not necessarily a sharp dramatic pain. It feels more like a dark heavy cloud over your chest. Sometimes you feel that your chest is very tight and your arms are really heavy. You have no energy to do anything even though the day is just starting. It can be a guilt or a regret from something that happened a long time ago. Or it can be a deep sadness that you don't even know why you are feeling right now. When you are trapped under that kind of emotional pain, the last thing you want is a lecture. You don't want someone to tell you to smile or look on the brighter side. That does not work. When life feels this heavy, it is incredibly hard to digest deep spiritual concepts. You don't want a masterclass on inner peace. You just want a pain to stop. You want a quick, practical way to feel better. So, right now, if you're feeling heavy and looking for the way out, then I want you to take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. You are exactly where you need to be. In this video, we are not going to talk about hard theories or any long lectures. We are going to walk through 3 immediate practical steps to break that heavy emotional loop and get you immediate relief. Once you feel stable, I'm going to share a little secret that allows you to stay in a quiet, protected space inside yourself, where the chaotic circumstances of the outside world simply cannot touch you. So let's get started with the emergency tools for quick relief. Whenever you have a heavy emotion and you get hit by these emotions and you feel like you are trapped, it can be because of any uncertain situation, like a rough conversation with your partner or a stressful day at work. It feels like you have a giant wave which completely covers you. You feels like you are actively drowning in it and you have no choice. So in that situation, the biggest mistake what we always do, the mistake that keeps us drowning or trapped in that emotion, is that we accidentally become the feeling. Think about the language you use when you are overwhelmed. Most of the time, we say that I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm deeply anxious. By using these words, you are equating your entire identity with that emotion. You aren't just a person experiencing the sadness or the anger. You are claiming that you are sadness, you are anger. So think of it like this. Imagine you are standing in front of a big painting. If your eyes are just 1 inch away from the canvas, what do you see? You see nothing, right? Or you hardly see a messy blob of colors. You cannot understand the painting because you are too close to it. To actually understand the painting, what do you have to do? It's so simple. You have to take 3 steps back. Only when you create a physical distance between you and the painting, then only you can realize the beautiful strokes of the painting. This is exactly what we need to do with our emotions, with our feelings. We need to take 3 steps back. And how can we do that? The fastest way to do that is to change the words, what we use during that feeling, that emotion. From this moment onwards, stop attaching your heart to your temporary feelings. Unknowingly, most of us get hit with heavy energy and start spiraling into it. To get quick relief, instead, I want you to practice saying this. I notice that there is a sadness inside me right now. Or you can say, I notice that anger is present within me right now. Do you feel the shift in that language? Now let's pay close attention to it. You are no longer the sadness itself. You are the conscious person who is observing the sadness. Once you take this observational position, you instantly clear your vision. You can see the options, the exits, and the opportunities in the exact same situation. You know, that same situation felt like a prison a minute ago. Now you can see how can you come out of it. This simple, subtle shift gives your mind room to breathe. When you get successful in creating distance between you and your emotions, you can very easily see that heavy emotions, they don't just sit there. They act like a fuel for other thoughts, for other emotions which are coming up. In some cases, you might have noticed that certain heavy feelings keep drowning and growing again and again. It's going heavier and heavier by the time. Why does this happen? Have we ever noticed? It happens because our emotions feed on fear, and our mind feeds our emotions by cooking up the scary stories. Usually, when we feel heavy, our mind panics and start predicting a terrible future. It starts whispering, things will never get better. Everything is against me. I'm always going to fail. These stories feel incredibly real because the emotional pain feels real. But we have to realize that the mind has a habit of cooking up the stories from absolutely nowhere. But the good thing is that once you understand the mind pattern, you can easily stop these stories. You can break the pattern, this destructive pattern which is continuously bothering you. So, how can you do that? It's very simple. You just have to ask question to your mind. Challenge the mind. Is this story really true? Or is my mind just making it up? Let's slow down and dissect that. If a friend hasn't texted you back, the fact is very simple. The friend hasn't texted back. But your mind story is, they are mad at me, I did something wrong, and our friendship is ending. When you ask, is this really true? You are challenging your mind. You are forcing it to look for actual evidence, not just emotional assumptions. Instead of just reacting emotionally and getting swept away by the story, you begin learning from the situation. This is exactly where your self-awareness begins to spark. If you ever noticed that every single thought, every single emotion carries certain vibration. For example, like heavy emotions like anger, guilt, and fear, they move very fast and feel incredibly chaotic. And on the other side, higher emotions like peace, clarity, and gratitude feels slow, smooth, and calm. The most important thing to realize today is that you have the power to change your vibration. But to do that, you have to catch the culprit when it's trying to steal your peace. You have to actively question the scary story. Now let's say that you tried everything. You tried to change your language and you have tried to question the stories. But the heavy waves are still coming up. The energy is just too dense to come out of it. When your mind is completely trapped, what do you do in that case? In that particular situation, you have to use your physical body to help your nervous system to come out of it. You must have noticed that when we experience deep emotional heaviness, we tend to freeze physically. We slump our shoulders, we sit in the dark room, and we restrict our breathing. This physical collapse traps the emotions in our muscles and nervous system. If you want to change your internal state, you have to change your external movement. For that case, when you feel trapped in emotional storm, then get up. Take help from your physical body. If you are sitting down, stand up. If you're in the dark room, open the windows and let the light and fresh air enter in. Go for a walk in the nature. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, inhaling completely through your nose, holding it for a second, and exhaling it out through your mouth. This is not just a distraction technique, it is a biological circuit breaker. It signals to your brain that you are safe, you are moving, and you are proactive. Once you have shifted your body and your emotions, you can change your focus. Find just one small thing to be thankful for right now. And let's be realistic. When you're feeling heavy, you don't need to be grateful for a grand, perfect life. Keep it incredibly small. It can be a warm cup of a tea, or it can be simple that you are breathing right now. Gratitude is like a light switch for your brain that changes your energy from dark to light instantly. Your brain cannot feel true fear and true gratitude at exactly same time. But remember, the steps what we are talking about, they are incredibly powerful. They only work if you try them in your life. Don't just watch and like the videos. Test and experiment them and get the experience out of it. They work because by doing these steps, we become an observer of our life. We stop waiting for our external world to change. The healing starts automatically from inside out. When you create distance, when you ask the right questions, and when you take help from your physical body, you actually stop playing the exhausting game of chaos. Now, think about your life like a theater. For years and years, you have been acting different roles, getting beaten up by the script of your life, reacting to every single twist and turn of the plot. But when you apply these tools, it's like you step off the stage and sit comfortably in the audience. You are simply watching the show that is continuously happening in your mind. If you watch your thoughts, you will realize that they are changing all the time. And if you watch your emotions closely, you will notice that they are also changing all the time. You can be angry in the morning and happy in the afternoon. Because, these things are constantly shifting. They are shifting their energies. They are shifting their vibrations. But have you ever noticed that there is one thing which is permanent, that never changes? That is the awareness behind these thoughts, these emotions, that quiet space within you, which is always peaceful and quiet. When you learn to sit quietly in the space, then you realize that you don't need to desperately fight your problem anymore. You don't need to spend all your energy trying to destroy your heavy feelings. You just need to realize that the true version of you is infinitely bigger than any temporary problem you ever face. So, the next time, if the life feels too heavy to handle, stop fighting the storm. Just remember the plan. Let us repeat these 3 steps so you can remember them easily. First thing, create distance by watching the feeling. Do not become the feeling. Do not say, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm mad. Instead, say, I notice sadness is here. And just watch the difference. Secondly, ask questions to stop the scary stories. Intercept the fear. Ask your mind, is this really true or is it just because of a vague fear coming from the past memories or future anxieties. Third thing is change your vibration with a physical shift. Move your body, drink some water, take a deep breath, and find one tiny thing to be grateful for. Once you follow these steps, pause for a moment and notice the relaxation in your body and mind. Rest deeply in that quiet, untouched space that you truly deserve. I hope this episode brings clarity and confidence in your life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this video helped you to breathe little easier or brought even a small sense of peace, please hit the like button. Leave a comment sharing which part resonated with you the most and share the video with someone who may be carrying a heavy heart today. Stay in your peace, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.